Hi, this is Louisa at the Pilates workshop with a little segment of home practice for you in relaxation or semi-supine position. So if you have it, you might need some cushions and possibly a resistance band or an old scarf or pair of tights, and maybe some light weights as your possibilities. Overball, if you've got one, maybe we'll use between the knees a little bit later on, or maybe an extra cushion would be fine between the knees as well. Okay, so we're going to start just in your relaxation position. So make sure you find your neutral pelvis, hip bones level with each other, and your belly button, your pubic bone, legs and feet parallel. You may need some support under your head, but try and keep your neck free. We should have the chin and forehead parallel with the floor. Okay, and once we're down here, let's just take a few breaths. You can have the hands on the side of your rib cage. So we take that wide breath in through the nose and that long breath out through the mouth. So try to let the shoulders soften, the pelvis settle. Maybe you could build up to taking a breath in for a count of 5 and then out for a count of 5. We'll just take a couple more breaths in together. And then as you breathe out, just begin to make that connection to your centre. So as the ribs soften down, you start to scoop in and perhaps the hip bones slide in towards each other a little bit. And then you can inhale, release. Let's do that once more. So that wide breath in. And then as you breathe out, just making that small connection to your centre. And then we'll let the hands travel down. So the fingertips are on your hip bones. And we're going to just do some pelvic stability work in this position. So for out, maintain a comfortable breath pattern for you and some connection to your centre. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure that as I move the legs, I'm not tilting the pelvis forward or back or side to side. That stays still, so the hands are there just to give me a little bit of feedback. So breath in, and as you breathe out in the centre, we're just going to slide one leg away. So normal leg slide. You could inhale, flex the foot. Exhale, soften the foot and slide that leg back in. So the next time you exhale and centre, you can float that leg into single knee fold. If it's comfortable for you, extend that leg so the thighs are roughly aligned with each other. Then you could bend back to knee fold and lower the leg and the foot back down. And then the next time you exhale and centre, that leg can just open out to a knee drop and then inhale, return. So let's do the other side. So breath and centre, we're sliding that leg away. You can inhale, flex, exhale, release, and glide it back again. So the next time you exhale and centre, that leg can come into knee fold, extend, bend and lower, and then the next time you exhale and centre, the leg can open out to the side, and we'll inhale, come back. We'll just do that once more each side. So breath and centre sliding, and flex as you inhale, exhale, come back in. Take a breath. Next time you centre, on the exhale, the leg can float up, maybe extend, bend it, and lower. Pelvis and other leg stay steady as you open out on that exhale, and then inhale, return. So last set on the other side. So breath and centre sliding, inhale, flex, exhale, release, and then gliding back in again. Breath and centre, we'll float up, maybe extend, bend, lower, and then your final exhale and centre here, you'll open the other leg out to the side, and then we'll inhale to come back again. And then you'll grab your band if you have one, your scarf or your tights. If you don't have a band, you could do the same movement, but perhaps use your hands around the thigh for a little bit of support and maybe keep your leg a little bit higher. So we're going to just unravel my really long band. Strong centre into knee fold, band around the back of the foot, elbows on the floor, forearms up. So the knee is in line with the hip and the shin is parallel with the floor. We're going to just do a few of the piston. So just really careful as you're pressing away from the leg that we're not tilting the pelvis or arching your back at all. So we're taking my breath in. As I breathe out and centre, I'm just lengthening that leg away. Just the tension on the band if you need to. Check the leg is parallel, not turning in or out. And then as you inhale, resist that temptation of the band to pull you back in. So you're almost working against it a little bit. So breath and centre away. And inhale to come back. Okay, so I'm going to just do about 3 more. So we'll do 5. And then on the final one, we're going to just leave the leg there. And just let it raise up towards a comfortable hamstring stretch for you. You may want to slide the other leg away, otherwise keep it bent. You may want to flex the feet. So just 2 or 3 breaths there. And then I'm going to slide both legs back in and switch onto the other leg. So that second leg, knees over the hip, shin parallel with the floor, good alignment for the upper body and connection to your center. So we'll do 5 of the piston and into your hamstring stretch here. So breath and center, pressing away. Inhale to resist that band to come back in again. So trying to keep the hip, knee and ankle aligned. The leg is staying parallel rather than turning in or turning out. Now, once you get to around number 5, you can let that leg float up to a comfortable hamstring stretch for you. Careful you don't lose that neutral shape. We're not imprinting the spine. You may want to slide the other leg away. You may want to flex the foot of the leg that's raised in the band. So 2 or 3 breaths there. Keeping both sides of the waist long, trying to avoid hitching up on either side of the waist or either hip. And then after a few breaths, you can bring the legs back in. So I'm going to just bring the band around the back of my thighs now. So if you could do the same if you've got your band, or alternatively, you could use your weights instead of the band here if you haven't got a band or your band isn't long enough. So just behind the back of my thighs, and I'm going to hold my band in shoulder drop position. You could either keep the fingers long or make a loose fist. Let's take a shoulder drop first. So I'm going to inhale, reach, and exhale, just soften and melt. Take a breath here. As I breathe out and center, I'm going to use the band to just help support me with my ribcage closure. And then inhale to stay, and then exhale, we come back to that shoulder drop position. So inhale, soften the elbows, and we'll open the arms out to the side without letting the ribs flare, and then exhale, come back again. We do a little shoulder drop, inhale up, exhale, release. Inhale, pause, exhale, ribcage closure. Inhale to come back. We'll pause on the inhale, come back on the exhale, and then we'll soften the elbows, and the next time you inhale, let's open out, and then we'll exhale, come back again. We're going to do that once more. So inhale, little shoulder drop and release. Next time you exhale, ribcage closure. You could inhale to stay or come back on the inhale. And then once you come back again, we'll just pause, soften the elbows and open out as you inhale. And then we'll exhale to come back again. And then we're going to just join the dots of that and do like a semicircular movement. Again, you could do the same with the weights, but you might just need to focus a little bit more on the alignment of your elbows and wrists as well, that the weights don't take you too far. So we'll do our ribcage closure as you exhale and center. And then inhale, I'm going to semicircle the arms back to that kind of T-shaped arm opening position, and then come back in again. So exhale, opening back. Inhale, opening out, and then coming back again. Let's do a couple more of those. And then last one, so exhale back, and that little semicircle to come back in. And then you can remove your band or your weights. We're going to go into a few spine curls, so you may want to remove any head support you had, and possibly you might want to shuffle the feet a little bit closer to your bottom. Some of you may do your variation of bridge, so without the articulation you might be lifting and lowering in one piece. So try to make your spine as long as you can before you even begin. Just have the arms down by your side. So breath in. As you breathe out and center, we're just going to go into that pelvic tilt. So peeling, wheeling the spine at one vertebrae at a time. At the top, just check you're not kind of squashed up around the neck or the throat. If you need to open it up just a little bit, please do. Breath at the top. We're going to come down really slowly. So as your first exhale, perhaps we can just drip that upper back down. So maybe the first few ribs can peel back down. Inhale to stay there. And then as you breathe out, possibly some more of the ribs towards that mid back. Inhale to stay. Exhale, start to peel down the lower part of your spine, some of your lumbar spine. Breath in there, and then perhaps you can finish letting the lumbar spine and then the pelvis level out again. So just taking it really slowly. We'll do that just once more. So breath and center, you can peel up the normal spine curl or bridge for some of you, and then breath at the top, and then as you breathe out, just start to drip that top segment of your spine down. Inhale there, the next segment perhaps towards your mid back and the rest of your ribs. Breath there, peeling down, so part of that lumbar spine begins to settle down. And then breath there, the rest of your lumbar spine and your pelvis levels out to neutral. Okay, so we're going to just work on the spine curls now with the option to add on windows. So I'll just remind you of windows before we put that together. So windows, you either have arms and palms facing away or arms and palms facing inwards if that suits your shoulders better. So I'll show you both versions separately. So as you breathe out, elbows come down, you make that right angle shape of the arms. You inhale, roll that shape back, and then exhale, extend, inhale, return. Or arms and palms face inwards, so you exhale, you draw down, that right angle shape of the arms. Inhale out or roll back from the upper arms, and then exhale, extend, inhale, return. So either of those, and we're going to add that onto your spine curl or maybe your bridge. So I'm going to keep my arms facing away. So taking a breath in, as you breathe out and center, I'm going to go into that spine curl, and as my pelvis begins to lift up, my elbows come down, so I've made that right angle shape. Inhale, stay lifted with that spine curl. Exhale, extend the arms, and then let the spine melt all the way back down to neutral. Inhale, come back again. So exhale, bottom lifts up as the elbows come down. Inhale, keep the pelvis lifted as you roll the arms back. You can exhale, extend the arms, and then spine curl all the way back down. Arms come back. So last one. So breath out, center, peeling up, elbows down. Inhale, roll the arms back. Exhale, extend, and then letting that spine melt all the way back down. And then once you've landed, bring back any head support you might have taken away. If you have an overball, you could use that. If you don't have an overball, just use your hands pressing into your thigh. So this is a version of single leg stretch, and you might want a little bit of extra head support if you come into that double knee fold part. So I'll show you each leg separately, and then I'm going to show you a double knee fold version as well, but stay with the single leg one if you want to. So option one is you breath and center, and you're going to float up into your single knee fold. If you have the ball, you can have the ball in the middle of your thigh, not pressing on your knee, and you press the ball into your thigh and the thigh into the ball. So as I breath and center, I'm going to press them in towards each other, and then inhale, that leg will leave the ball. So this is the position we did for a little bit of our pelvic stability earlier. So breath and center, you can press in and then leave the ball. Okay, if you don't have the ball, no problem, just have one hand on top of the other, or possibly you might prefer to interlace the fingers. Same idea, I'm going to just press the thigh into the hands and the hands into the thigh as I exhale and center, and then inhale, the leg leaves my hands. So exhale, center, pressing in, keeping neutral, and then lengthening away. So you could stay with doing perhaps 4 or 5 on each leg, or if it feels okay for you, you could single knee fold, double knee fold. I'm keeping my legs hip width and parallel, and with or without the ball, I'm going to have the ball pressing into my hands into the ball into the thigh, and vice versa. And as that presses in, I'm going to extend that other leg away quite high because our head is down. So that's on the exhale. Then you can switch over as you inhale, exhale, other leg. You should feel some strong work through your center. And again, you can work with the hands, and you're working your hips as well here. Do use that active pressing, thigh and hands or ball in towards each other, keeping that tailbone heavy. So I'm going to just level out to double knee fold and lower the legs one at a time. I'll just remove that little extra head cushion I put there. If you have your overball or maybe another pillow, you could pop it under your tailbone, otherwise just stay as you are on the mat. And then from here, I'm going to take a hip flexor stretch. So still keeping control of that center, I'm going to let that leg slide away without letting my back arch. That might be enough, or you may wish to let the other leg just float up into a soft knee fold, possibly holding behind the back of the thigh. But if you're on the ball and it's a little bit wobbly, just keep the elbows or some part of your arms in contact with the mat. So 2 or 3 breaths there, then lower the bent leg, slide the other leg back in, and then other side, so you can slide that leg away, float this one up, hug it in, take a few breaths into there, or keep the other leg on the ground. So you might want to leave that one on the floor, and that's fine. You don't have to hug with this one. You might need to keep some contact point on the mat. And then once you've evened up, lower the bent leg down, slide the other one in. If you wanted to do a few little pelvic tilts, you could do, and then we'll remove the ball and the cushion. And before we change position, we'll just do some hip rolls. So you could either have the legs and feet together, Arms in a low V, palms up. And as you breathe out and centre, let the pelvis and legs peel over one way, keeping that width across the shoulder blades, and then inhale to come back to the centre. And then other side, so breath and centre, pelvis and legs one way, legs and feet stay glued, keep that length through the neck, and then inhale to come back. Alternatively, you might prefer to separate the legs a little bit wider than hip width and slightly turned out. So breath and centre, pelvis and legs one way, neck and head the other, breath in there, and then you're gliding back again. So the legs almost like wipers. Careful the weight of the leg doesn't pull your spine too far over, so you're keeping that width across the upper back and that length through your neck. And when you finish there, you come back to the centre, bring the legs to parallel, and if it's comfortable for you, you may want to slide both legs away and possibly let the arms come up and over, or widen them out if you need to. So just taking a few breaths there before you gather back up, and then we can just roll onto your side from there. So thank you very much for joining me.